Bubba Wallace crossed the finish line in second place at nearly 2 a.m. It looked like one of the most dramatic and rewarding nights of his entire 2026 NASCAR Cup Series season. Then, 30 seconds later, it was completely wiped away. A post-race penalty dropped him from second all the way down to 29th. And what reportedly happened behind closed doors at 23XI Racing in the days that followed has the entire NASCAR community asking one explosive question: is Bubba Wallace done? Today, we are breaking down two massive stories. First, the reported internal fallout inside 23XI Racing after the most controversial penalty of the season. Second, the fan firestorm that has completely divided the NASCAR community. If you enjoy honest, daily NASCAR conversations, hit that like button right now and subscribe. We are pushing toward our goal of 15,000 subscribers, and we would love to have you here from the very beginning to understand why this story exploded the way it did. You have to understand what actually happened at EchoPark Speedway. The Quaker State 400 was already one of the wildest races of the year before the controversy even started. A lengthy rain delay stopped the action for more than 3 hours, pushing the finish deep into the early morning hours. The 263-lap event did not end until around 1:45 a.m. local time on Monday, July 13. The race featured more than 30 lead changes, multiple cautions, and an overtime restart that set up one of the most dramatic finishes of the entire season. At the front of it all was Ryan Blaney. The Team Penske driver put together a nearly perfect weekend. He won the pole, swept both stages, and led a race-high 171 laps in the No. 12 Ford. Even after brushing the outside wall late in the final stage, Blaney stayed in contention and positioned himself for his second victory of the 2026 season. But it was the final lap that changed everything. Bubba Wallace took the white flag in third position. Down the backstretch, with Carson Hocevar and Ryan Blaney battling ahead of him, Wallace darted to the bottom of the racetrack, making it 3 wide for the lead. In the process, the No. 23 Toyota dropped below the double yellow line. Wallace stayed alongside Hocevar and Blaney through turns 3 and 4. A critical shove from Christopher Bell then propelled Blaney across the finish line first. Wallace crossed the line second. For about 30 seconds, it looked like a massive night for 23XI Racing. Then NASCAR made its ruling. Officials determined that Wallace advanced his position below the double yellow line on the final lap, a direct violation of Section 8.7.2a of the NASCAR rulebook. The penalty dropped him from second to 29th, scoring him as the last car on the lead lap. The total damage was a 27-point swing in the championship standings. Christopher Bell was promoted to second, and Carson Hocevar moved up to third. Wallace did not accept the ruling quietly. He went straight to the 23XI Racing hauler to review the data with crew chief Charles Denny and director of competition Dave Rogers. After evaluating their case, the three of them walked to the NASCAR hauler for a 31-minute meeting with officials. The penalty stood. When Wallace emerged, his words were short and blunt. A penalty is a penalty. Before that meeting, Wallace made his case clearly to the media. It says advancing your position, which I did not do. I stayed third, and I was all over the brakes to make sure I did not advance. He pointed to SMET telemetry data as proof that he was braking, not accelerating through the move. He also argued that he only moved to second because Ty Gibbs shoved him in the final 50 yards. The key question his defense raised was direct if he crossed the line in the same position he held when he went below the line. How is that advancing his position? Cup Series Managing Director Brad Moran shut the door quickly, confirming the penalty is not reviewable because it falls under an on-track judgment call governed directly by the rulebook. On the Hauler Talk podcast, NASCAR VP of Racing Communications Mike Ford broke down exactly why the call was made. Unfortunately for Bubba, attempting to give the position back does not matter in this rule. Ford explained that officials determined Wallace advanced his position in multiple areas. At one point on the final lap, Wallace was effectively in first place. If a caution had come out at that moment, he would have been declared the winner. In NASCAR's eyes, that alone constituted advancing his position, whether he intended it or not. Ford also dismantled the argument that Wallace never completed a pass. A quarter of an inch ahead counts as improving your position, and it was pretty clear to us. He added that Wallace would never have reached that position without going below the line in the first place. Notably, Ford revealed that 23XI Racing handled everything with remarkable composure. NASCAR VP of Competition Elton Sawyer reportedly said the team could not have been more respectful during the protest window, more composed than officials even expected, given the magnitude of the penalty. Denny Hamlin carries a unique perspective here. He is both the driver of the No. 11 car for Joe Gibbs Racing and the co-owner of 23XI Racing. On his Actions Detrimental podcast, Hamlin admitted that when he watched the move live, he immediately knew it would be a penalty, because he has been penalized for the exact same thing before. His explanation of the rule was clear. The rule is not literal about gaining a position, it's about making a move to advance. His advice was equally direct. You have to pretend there's a wall there. The yellow line is a wall, just not made of concrete. But Hamlin also defended his driver's instincts without hesitation. Man, going for a win, I think you have to go for it. He pointed out that drivers cannot see the yellow lines from inside the car on the back stretch at this track, because the banking difference between the apron and the racing surface is minimal. By the time Wallace could see the line, it was already too late. The double yellow line rule has been in place since 2001. It applies at only 3 tracks: EchoPark Speedway, Daytona International Speedway, and Talladega Superspeedway. The rule exists to stop drivers from using the flat apron as a passing lane, which historically triggered massive wrecks. Ford was firm on its future. I know some people don't love the rule, but I think it would be a lot worse without it, and that's why we've kept it on the books for 25 years. Now, an important note. The details in this next section come from reports and have not been officially confirmed by the team. Treat them accordingly. According to those reports, 23XI Racing conducted an internal review shortly after the race, bringing team executives and competition leaders together with Wallace in a closed-door meeting. The purpose was not to question his future with the organization. It was to examine the decisions he made in the closing laps that led to one of the most costly penalties of the season. Leadership reportedly concluded that the mistake was avoidable and that it cost the team one of its strongest finishes of the entire 2026 season, along with extremely valuable championship points. Following that meeting, the report claims 23XI Racing took internal disciplinary action. Wallace was reportedly given an undisclosed financial fine within the organization, and performance bonuses tied to that race result were reportedly revoked. Wallace is also expected to participate in additional race review sessions focused on superspeedway strategy, risk assessment, and decision-making in high-pressure late-race moments. Critically, these measures were viewed internally as accountability, not a loss of confidence. Team leadership reportedly emphasized that Wallace remains a cornerstone driver of 23XI Racing. The atmosphere of the meeting was described as professional but firm. Executives reportedly pointed back to several earlier races in 2026 where penalties and preventable incidents cost the No. 23 team strong finishes. This is not being treated as an isolated incident. They want to eliminate the pattern before the playoff fight intensifies. The fan reaction exploded almost instantly. The community split into 2 distinct camps. Critics argued this was a completely preventable mistake, part of a recurring pattern of costly errors at critical moments, and that attention was shifting toward officiating instead of personal responsibility. Supporters pushed back hard, arguing that Wallace was genuinely trying to avoid a wreck, that the punishment was excessive for the circumstances, and that he is judged more harshly than other drivers in identical situations. Then there was the Ty Gibbs subplot. After the race, Gibbs confronted Wallace on pit road, and the exchange got heated. Gibbs claimed he went over to apologize for bumping Wallace out of 6th place at the end of Stage 2, but said Wallace showed a lot of disrespect. Gibbs added, "I tried to help him out there at the end and push him to win." Wallace soared entirely differently. "He hit me square in the bumper. The block was well ahead." Wallace then summed up the Toyota teammate dynamic bluntly. That's Toyota teammates don't race very well together. Even the race winner weighed in when Ryan Blaney learned about the penalty during his post-race interview. His reaction was just 2 words: "That sucks," and the emotional toll extended beyond the racetrack. Amanda Wallace, Bubba's wife, followed the race on social media throughout the night. After the penalty was announced, she posted what many fans felt captured the moment perfectly. "This is exhausting to watch. The stakes could not be higher." Wallace currently sits 13th in the regular season standings, 55 points above the playoff cut line. Without the penalty, that cushion would have been 82 points. He has now finished outside the top 20 in 6 of the last 9 races, and there are only 6 regular season races remaining before the playoffs begin. Wallace knows exactly what that means. Everyone behind us is licking their chops. And he admitted plainly, "We're not safe." This story is bigger than one penalty. It is about accountability inside one of NASCAR's top organizations. It is about how one of the sport's most talked about drivers responds under pressure. It is about whether the No. 23 team can turn frustration into momentum when every single point matters. The internal review, the reported fine, and the social media debate do not earn championship points. The only thing that can change this narrative is what Bubba Wallace does on the racetrack over the next 6 races. This channel is brand new, and we are working hard every single day to bring you honest, detailed NASCAR coverage. If this video gave you something valuable, please hit the like button and subscribe. Every single subscriber genuinely helps us grow, and we are chasing our goal of 15,000 subscribers together. Now we want to hear from you. Did 23XI Racing reportedly handle this situation the right way? And did NASCAR get the penalty correct, or was dropping Bubba Wallace from 2nd to 29th simply too severe? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. The conversation is just getting started.